One quiet afternoon, while sifting through a box of old photographs, Clementine stumbled upon a picture that stopped her cold. It was a photograph of her and her former fiancé, Liam. They stood on a beach, sun-kissed and laughing, their smiles effortless, their eyes locked on each other as if nothing in the world could ever break what they had. For a moment, the memory rushed back to life, the salty air brushing against her skin, the warm sand beneath her feet, and the feeling that their future was as endless as the ocean stretching before them. But now, as she stared at the photograph, grief washed over her. It wasn't just the loss of Liam that hurt. It was the loss of the woman she had once been, the woman who believed happiness was secure, the woman who had trusted completely. The breakup had left a strange emptiness in her life. Sometimes she would instinctively reach for her phone to text Liam, wanting to share some small, silly moment from her day. Her fingers would hover over the screen. Then she would remember. And slowly, she would pull her hand back. Because Clementine had chosen to buy Liam's share of the cottage they once shared, she now lived inside the physical remains of their relationship. She tried to reclaim the space. She rearranged furniture. She bought new decorations. She tried to scrub away every trace of the life they had built together. But the memories refused to disappear. The cottage had become something else entirely, a monument to betrayal, a reminder of the future she had once believed in. The weight of those memories became physical. Her chest tightened, her stomach knotted with anxiety that never seemed to fade. Even sleep offered no escape. Her dreams were filled with distorted versions of Liam and echoes of the life they once shared. Each morning felt like a cruel rebirth into the same pain. Soon, the questions began. Had she missed the signs? Was there something in those old photos that hinted at the truth? Had she been too trusting? Too naive? Had she somehow helped create her own heartbreak? These thoughts spiraled endlessly through her mind, pulling her deeper into self-doubt. She found herself trapped between two unbearable truths. The memories hurt, but they were also the last connection she had to the life she once lived. To erase them completely would feel like erasing a part of herself. And so, she remained caught between the past she couldn't keep and the future she didn't yet know how to face. Eventually, Clementine began searching for answers. If Liam had deceived her, she needed to understand how. She created a physical chart, a sprawling web of dates, events, and Liam's supposed whereabouts. Birthdays, anniversaries, holidays that were once filled with joy were now marked with quiet question marks. Where had he really been during their anniversary trip when he claimed to be stuck on a conference call? Who was he with during those late nights at the office that had slowly become routine? Each new inconsistency she uncovered added another brick to the wall of lies Liam had built. And with every discovery, her self-worth eroded further. Because Liam's betrayal had not been a single act. It was 7 months of deception, a carefully constructed network of lies. The realization was devastating. How could someone she had loved so deeply maintain such a false life? Determined to know the truth, Clementine began examining Liam's digital footprint. Social media became a battlefield. There were unfamiliar names, mutual friends she had never met, posts that hinted at events she had never been part of. Each clue felt like a piece of a map leading toward a destination she dreaded. Eventually, Clementine took a decisive step. She blocked Liam everywhere, and she hired a lawyer to handle all communication. It was not an easy battle, but eventually, Liam agreed to speak only through legal channels. The turning point came when Clementine made a firm declaration. If Liam continued trying to contact her directly, she would leave the country and return to her native Brazil. That threat worked. For the first time in years, Clementine felt something unexpected. Control. Looking back on their 3-year relationship, the power had always rested with Liam. Yet as Clementine reflected further, she discovered something even more painful. The relationship had slowly changed her. At social gatherings, Liam thrived. Clementine did not. But she forced herself to attend anyway, because she believed that was what a good partner did. Slowly, she began censoring herself. She edited her opinions before speaking. She reshaped her thoughts to match what Liam might approve of. If someone criticized a person Liam admired, Clementine would defend them, even when her instincts disagreed. The cost of maintaining his approval had been silence. She had traded her truth for his acceptance. And over time, the vibrant parts of her personality began to fade. Her laughter softened. Her enthusiasm dimmed. She tried to become someone easier to love. Only now did she realize the tragic truth. The woman Liam had claimed was unfulfilling, was not even her true self. It was a version of herself she had created just to please him. The wound Liam left behind was deep, but slowly it began to scar. At first, forgiving him felt impossible. The anger inside her felt justified, but carrying it was exhausting. Eventually, Clementine realized something important. The bitterness wasn't hurting Liam, it was hurting her. So she began writing in a journal, page after page, releasing the anger and the pain. Slowly, she began to understand. Forgiveness wasn't about Liam, it was about freeing herself. Healing began with small choices. One evening, she asked herself a simple question. What do you want for dinner? For months, every choice had revolved around Liam. But this time, the answer was hers alone. Avocado toast, fresh tomatoes, fragrant basil. A small choice, but it felt powerful. It was the beginning of reclaiming her life. One afternoon, she wandered into a small bookstore. Among the shelves, she found a novel by an author she had loved in college. Holding the book, something inside her stirred. A forgotten joy. Buying it felt like a declaration. It was something she wanted, and that was enough. As Clementine stepped back into the street, the world felt different. She was no longer trapped in the ruins of her past. Clementine learned something important. Love was never meant to shrink a person. It was never meant to silence their voice or dim the brightest parts of who they were.